Hello. Now, in this video, we'll discuss about the structure of the enterprise system implementation project teams, together with the roles and responsibilities. Okay, without further ado, let me introduce you with a typical project team organization, including roles and responsibilities in a typical implementation projects. And we have to start with the project manager, as she is, let's say, she's the heart of any kind of a project, in fact. So she's the person responsible for accomplishing the project objectives. She's very much like a conductor or a coach or a captain, if you like, captain of a team. So project managers must be equipped with a wide variety of skills, many of which can be categorized as soft skills, like, I don't know, leadership and negotiation, communication, problem solving, and so on. Of course, there's also a need for process domain knowledge or technical knowledge and expertise, but that might even be secondary in many cases. What does she do? First and foremost, plans, monitors, and controls the budget, schedule, scope, and quality. Remember the triangle, huh? So she obtains the required resources based on the plan, facilitates interaction with the internal and external stakeholders like vendors and other type of teams, resolves project issues and problems, or facilitates the resolution of such problems. And then she periodically also reports to the steering committee. And speaking of which, the steering committee, in fact, a group of people consistent typically of the sponsor or owner of the project, we'll see about that, key executives, and sometimes also the project manager. This committee simply defines and evaluates the strategic objectives or strategic choices of the project, in fact, I should say. I mean, they set the committee sets the project vision, the goals and priorities, and what is expected at the end of the project. What are the benefits that are expected to be achieved at the end of the project, defined, set by the steering committee. This committee approves rather important changes to the scope, budget, and schedule, and also quality, if you like. It reviews the progress, provides guidance and oversight. It's kind of the ultimate authority, particularly when there are issues that have been escalated, mainly by the project manager. And in some projects, I must say that this role can be kind of replaced by the project owner or the sponsor. Speaking of which, the sponsor or the owner simply pays for the project, the organization itself or the board itself. So what is very important about this entity or this role is that it must have a very clear understanding of what the project objectives are, and in particular concerning the delivery of the project benefits. And in some relatively larger projects, we would also see the project management team, which help the project manager in some activities like quality assurance, risk management, and configuration management. And in such projects, you would then see new roles like risk manager or a quality manager or configuration manager for that matter. Okay, now proceeding. Functional and process teams or team. We usually have multiples in enterprise system implementation projects, and they are very important. They are core of what has to be done, in fact. This team analyzes the current EIS processes, understands the system functionality, the functionality offered by the software system. They perform the analysis to understand the user requirements. They design, they configure, they sometimes implement code the solution system. In fact, they do quite a lot of job, as you can imagine. And this is usually this team as in many other teams, they have a team leader, and usually called like a functional team leader. And team leader must have a very clear understanding of the current organizational structure, the practices, the processes, definitely the processes, and requirements of the functional area or process of concern. So if you're talking about finance, the finance functional team lead or a team leader particularly must have a very clear understanding of what processes are there, what is in scope and what is out of scope, and what is the current practice in the organization. He or she should have a very clear understanding of that to be successful. Next is the technical team. It manages the project technical issues. In fact, what are these issues? They are basically related to the IT infrastructure for the application environments. And I mean, you usually have, or we usually have, different system environments in the project. For instance, the production environment, where the actual system environment used by the users, the development environment, where the configuration customization is being made, and perhaps even tested, and so on. I mean, technical team maintains these environments. They install these environments, take the backups of these environments, maintain these environments at the same time. They also support and sometimes even perform customizations, writing add-ons, codes. They support the functional team, in fact, from that perspective. They develop interfaces between other systems for integration. They perform or support data conversion and migration from old systems. And they also develop special and sometimes ad hoc reports to satisfy some specific needs of the users. Next is change management and training team. Now, again, like others, in fact, this team is also quite important for the success of this project. It establishes and facilitates communication within the organization, encourages ownership of the project, communicates the benefit to all other parties, involves key users into the project, coordinates the benefit realization, meaning that it continuously monitors the benefits and makes sure that they are emerging. In fact, the benefits are really coming. It participates in the business process improvement and re-engineering in coordination with other teams. And perhaps as the last point, it also manages the activities related to the training, and we're talking about end user training here. Finally, we have the vendor, or sometimes consulting firm, and the vendor. It's obviously an important actor, important part of the project organization, and usually have a project leader on the vendor side, sometimes also part of the steering committee. Again, you would see the technical and functional lead supporting the functional and the technical teams here. For instance, the functional consultant provides knowledge and guidance regarding the software system functionality. I mean, the team usually asks, like, can we configure the system like this? Does it support this feature? Do we need to customize it? Or is there a possibility or a workaround to fulfill this requirement, and so on? And as a final point, these days we are talking about on-demand enterprise system provisioning, cloud systems, and SaaS, software as a service. So based on that, we have another kind of role emerging usually these days, hosting provider, which maintains the technical infrastructure. In the last slide, I would like to say a few words about the level of resource requirements over the system lifecycle. As you can see here, so we're talking about the base. We're talking about the base personnel that's needed for the overall life cycle of the system. Now, okay. Now, the resource requirements in the operations and maintenance phase of enterprise information systems lifecycle tend to increase over okay, over a relatively long period of time, and question what are the kind of reasons for this typical increase. So that during the maintenance, new updates, patches are installed, bugs are fixed, and new functionalities that are in the backlog are implemented. But as the business changes, as the requirements change, all these activities become more difficult to perform. As new requirements emerge, the maintenance of such systems become very costly and difficult, challenging. So this is essentially the condition or the status for almost any product that we use. Think about your bike or a car. At some point in time, you sit down and think whether it would be better idea to replace the system with a new one or keep maintaining the existing one. So it's rather a strategic decision. So that was it about the project organization or the team structure, roles and responsibilities. See you in the next video.